Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is the Premier Chess Adult Intermediate. This is the February 2022 class, and this is the Monday Intermediate. This is week 6. So I figured we'll do some lead chess puzzles and talk a little bit about exchange sacrifice. And I got a sample game for you guys. All right. So let's look at this one. This is a game from lead chess. So let's go back to the beginning. Let's examine this one. E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6, C3, bishop C5. All right, so C3, preparing D4, right? Preparing to control the center. The Scotch game, right? E takes, C takes, bishop B4 check, bishop D2. All right, queen E7, bishop D3. Knight F6, castle, takes, okay. Castle E5, knight D5, knight E4, D6. All right. All right. So getting a little aggressive, maybe going after the king side, maybe wanting to bring the queen here. Also with the bishop here, perhaps a knight sack coming up on F6. So it might be some activity against the king here. So takes. All right, so white to move. What do you think? What do you think white did here? See if you can figure out.
White took H7.
Yeah, H7 looks like a nice move, right?
Uh-huh.
Attacking the rook, but also luring the king out. So after knight takes and king takes,
Knight F6.
Yeah, so okay, so we got knight F6 or knight G5. Which one do you think is stronger?
Knight F6.
I like F6 because it blocks the F pawn from coming forward.
It also controls G8 for
Yeah,
the king.
excellent. Yeah, I think that's the important part is that it controls G8, so the king is unable to retreat, right?
Yeah.
And so now we have looks like we have a forced mate actually, right? Forced mate in 2.
Yeah, queen H5 and then it's
Right.
over.
Yeah, knight there, either king H8, king H6, and queen H5. Looks like it seals the deal. Right? Beautiful. All right. Well, that was too easy for this class. So I got to do another one. Too easy for you guys. All right. So let's go back with this one. Let's see. Okay. This is between two 2400s. All right. So this should be a nicer game. Let's see. G3, D5, bishop G2, C5. Okay. Knight F3, knight C6, D4. All right. This kind of looks like a, what do you call this? A reversed Grunfeld, maybe? Right? This kind of setup takes. Yeah, especially if he goes E5 and then knight takes and B takes here. That looks like a reverse Grunfeld, kind of. Okay, so knight takes. Yeah, that looks like a weird move to take the knight because now the queen just has a nice central location that really can't be kicked away so easily. So what else do you think? Good move here.
E5.
Yeah, I like E5, controlling the center, kicking away the knight. If he takes here, you take back and you have a beautiful center with the pawns. Maybe you go knight F6, maybe bishop C5, and then you castle, and nice central control. So that seems kind of natural. Taking the knight just seems like, see, now black has no pieces developed, and we say that white has 2 pieces pretty active, right here. So not so good. So knight F6, castle, E6. All right, bishop F4, bishop E7, C4, takes. All right, so what do you think white did here?
Did he go rook D1?
Yeah, so it looks like queen takes C4 would be the obvious move, but he didn't do that. No, he didn't go rook D1 either. So he took the queen immediately. And I guess this pawn is not really in danger of being protected, is not able to be protected because we got the very active bishop on the long diagonal. So he's not worried about getting this pawn back. So yeah, he took the queen first, queen takes, bishop takes, knight A3, right? Knight D5. All right. which is that's a pretty good move. I like that because now this knight is wanting to trade for the bishop, which the bishop is pretty active. Bishop doesn't want to trade, and if he moves the bishop, now we have knight b6, and now we protect the pawn. So that's a pretty nice move. So knight takes f4. Okay, all right. So we got some trades. So now we have 3 pawn islands for white and 2 for black. So slight edge for white, black. Sorry, in terms of pawn structure. All right, bishop c7, e3, rook b8, rook fd1, king e7, rook d2, d8. All right, take, bishop d7, 95. All right. All right, still pretty even. I mean, the black rook is definitely not active here, so I wouldn't do that. What do you think? I wouldn't retreat the bishop back to c. Oh, actually, you know what? I was looking at rook c8 to pin the knight, but I missed. I temporarily missed. I forgot I would drop a pawn here. So, all right. So I guess bishop c7. Okay. All right. Knight d2, bishop d8. It looks like black's not really making that much progress, right? So he's got to maybe start pushing these and maybe create some weaknesses over here, additional weaknesses. So, all right, knight b3, b6, knight d4, bishop d7. Yeah, black's kind of waiting for white to make some progress here. King e8, yeah, not really doing much for black. Rook c8, bishop c6, bishop takes, rook takes. Okay, a6, bishop, king d3. All right, so pretty close endgame here. I'd say that white has slightly more active king, but pretty close endgame. King d7, knight e5 check, king e8, king d4. Wow, look at this. Very active white king and extremely passive black king, right? Big difference here. All right, so bishop f6, b4 takes. How would you take back here? With the pawn or with the king? What do you guys think?
You take back with the king.
Okay, anyone else?
This
What do you?
might be one of the rare situations where I would take back with the pawn and double up. Just
I mean-
because it makes f6 and d6 useless to the black king.
I'd
Right.
say f takes e5 because king takes e5 and then king d7 and the white king can't really do too much.
Yeah, after king takes e5, yeah, king e7, and then followed by f6, kicking the king away once again, right? So maybe taking with the pawn might be better. So Sean said you're going to double up, but you're already doubled pawns, right? So you kind of you're just shifting the double pawns to the e file, right? So f takes e5 followed by f4. I think it's a pretty nice pawn structure, you know, and then push these pawns and then try to create some openings so the king can invade this way. Right. All right. So he took back with the pawn. King d7, a4, king c6, king c4, f6. All right. Takes f4. All right. King d6, king d4, e5 check. Takes king e4. All right. King and pawn endgame. All right. So black to move here. This is the puzzle. What do you think is the best move for black?
I mean, maybe king to e6, but it just kind of seems real drawn here.
Yeah, I think king e6. Yeah, it's kind of draw-ish. Yeah, king e6, maybe h3, h6, h4, h5, and then let's see. I mean, even if the king, let's say, actually, that is interesting because if the king drops back to d3, what would be the best move there? So your king is on e6. The king drops back to d3. What would you do?
I would go king f5.
Yeah. So yeah, king d5 probably wouldn't make much progress because he can just push over here.
I said
e5.
F5.
I know,
F-
yeah, I know. Yeah, that's why I'm saying, yeah, king d5, no good. But yeah, king at f5, yeah. So now you're going after the h pawn. That might be winning. That's pretty good. So the other alternative to king e6, I'm looking at is a5, right? And does that work? Right. So now we either have takes or we have push on b5. Yeah, I don't know. So king c5 takes here, king b4, and then maybe push here takes king f5. Yeah, I think white gets there first, right? Yeah, I think so. So maybe king e6, right? What do you guys think?
Yep.
I think king e6. All right, so let's see here. All right. All right, so now king d3. All right, so what do you think? You still want to do it king f5?
Yeah, I'd say king F5.
Yeah, I think so too, because yeah, again, we go king d5, he just pushes up and kicks you back and no progress, right? Let's see. Yeah, so king f5. All right, so let's see. All right, so now king f5, king e2. So now what? What do you think?
E4.
King E4.
Ed, you said e4 with the pawn, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got e4, we have king e4. All right, so let's see. So e4. All right, then let's say, yeah, if he comes,
How about moving the pawn to h5? Start developing that.
Five.
Doing the reason you
maybe, but I think it's more important here to get active king though. I think it's more important, yeah, for an active king. So let's just look at this. E4, if the king goes to f2, do we have enough time to go around? I don't know. King e5, king g3, king d4. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking it's king e4. I like that. So h5, yeah, I think in these pawn endgames, it's more important you want to secure a strong king first, and then you make the pawn moves, right? Because the pawn moves are much more permanent. So what do you guys think? King e4 looks like the best. What do you guys think?
Well, let me ask you this. If we
Sure.
could step back a step,
Sure.
if as soon as king goes to f5 in the first place, if instead of going to e7 or e2, if he goes to c4, if white goes to c4, I'm not convinced black wins that race.
Wait, hold on. So you want to go?
So you go back to, yeah, you go right here. Say right here, he goes to black goes to f5.
Black goes to
Black goes to
f5.
f5. Just
Now you want to go this way? You're saying?
yeah, I want to go that way and down. I think white wins that race.
I think black wins because he just comes up here, and now, okay, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do here?
Okay, you're right. You're right. You're right. I didn't think of E4. You're right, because I was thinking if white can get to D4 or D6, he wins it. But
Yeah, you can't get to d4. Yeah,
you can't get to D5. Or yeah. Okay, no, I was thinking. Yeah, I thought if white got to D5, he would win that race. But you're right, he can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so e2. All right, so what do you think? King e4? Think so, right?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, nice. Yeah, so now what are you gonna do? So if he goes this way, you invade this way, and then I guess you could just win these pawns, and you can do that. I think you can do that quickly, and because he's got to come up here, take a few moves to get your pawn, and by the time he does that, yeah, I think you have enough time. So cool. All right, awesome. All right, so let's talk about exchange sacrifice. So why everybody knows what an exchange sacrifice is, right? First of all,
Yeah.
right. So rook sacrifices itself for bishop or a knight, and what's the reason that that one might do an exchange sacrifice?
Well, to open up the king side.
Okay, so for an attack, right, against the opponent's
Yeah.
king, to force a checkmate, and then
Mm.
there's also a positional exchange sacrifice.
Where they could also, in like certain positions, they would sack horrible rooks for good bishops and knights.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be a positional exchange sacrifice where it's not immediately apparent, that you can get the material back, or there's going to be a checkmate that's imminent. But it's like when really skilled players they do a move like that, and based on intuition, right? They think this kind of position warrants an exchange sacrifice, right? So yeah. All right. So let me ask you this: what world champion was famous for his exchange sacrifices?
Wasn't Fisher?
I believe it was Tigran Petrosian, very famous for his exchange sacrifices. But Fisher probably did them too. Mikhail Tal, I'm sure he did them as well, a lot. And this game we're gonna feature one from Mikhail Tal in 1990 versus Domingo Ramos. All right. So let's see here. So we got e4, c5, knight f3, d6. So Tal is white, by the way. D4 takes, knight f6, knight c3, a6, a4. So this would be the Najdorf, right? Variation,
Yeah.
I believe. Okay, cool. Gotta verify that with Samuel. Queen c7, bishop e2, knight c6, castle e6, bishop e3, bishop e7, and of course f4, right? Tal going in for the attack immediately. All right, knight takes, queen takes, e5. All right. So of course, taking on e5 would be beautiful for black, because then he would get rid of this backward pawn on d6 and open up his bishop. So of course, Tal does not oblige that request. He goes queen d3, e takes f4, rook takes f4, bishop e6, bishop d4, d5. Okay, white to move. What do you think white played here?
Did he play e takes d5?
E takes d5. No, he didn't. He did not. Say again.
E takes d5.
Yeah. So e takes d5. Actually, why would e takes d5 be a mistake? Anyone tell me?
Oh, just queen takes f4.
Yeah, queen takes, yeah,
Yeah, the rook is hanging.
immediately, and then
Right,
opens up.
right. All right. So what else? What else do you think he played here?
Knight takes the pawn on.
All right. So knight takes, and then what would you do
Knight
with knight
take.
after knight takes? Now what?
The pawn takes back the knight.
Yeah, rook is still hanging.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
rook's
you do
hanging.
get a bishop here.
Yeah.
It's true. So yeah, it could be compensation, but he chose to do an immediate exchange sacrifice here. And I think what a main reason he did it is because he didn't want to give black the chance, to consolidate in castle, right? He wanted to strike when black's king was still in the center, right? So rook takes f6 is what he played, and white first took on e4, which is probably a mistake. Why? Because now after knight takes, now not only does he have a bishop in the attack, but now he also has a knight. He basically helped white bring another piece into the attack. So probably not a good idea. All right, so he played g takes. What would you play here? You're white.
I would probably go knight takes f6 check.
Yeah.
Yeah, knight takes f6 is pretty strong with a check. Bishop takes. Okay, rook g8. All right. So he played. Okay. Actually, no. What do you think? What do you think white played here?
Did he play queen takes h7?
Yeah, queen takes h7. Looks like you're just going pawn grabbing, but I think it's a pretty good move because you're attacking the rook simultaneously, and of course the king cannot castle because the bishop is controlling d8. So this king is stuck in the center very uncomfortably. So queen takes h7. King make a very awkward move. King f8, extremely awkward move. What do you think white played here?
What about bishop b5?
Bishop b5 here.
Yeah, to block off the king from the.
So you're sacrificing the bishop.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. No, I don't think that works. What else?
Bishop to G7 check.
Bishop g7 check, rook takes. What'd you do then?
Then queen to H8.
So rook comes back.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was going to go after the other rook. But
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem. All right. What else?
Would queen h6 work?
Yeah,
Like,
so
like-
queen h6. Yeah, he throws in another check here to just basically say to the king, get back there, you know. Get back to the center. Queen h6 check, king e8. So now he activates his other bishop a little better, nicer diagonal, bishop f3, you know, simultaneously pinning this pawn and protecting the g2 pawn. A very nice move. We have rook c8, c3, queen c5 check. All right, what do you think white played here?
I think he's got to go H1.
King h1.
So king h1, okay, that would be the obvious move. He did not do that. He chose to defend and attack at the same time. All right, so
Is
bishop
it-
d.
We'll move the bishop back to d4. Yep.
Yeah, bishop d4, right? So now the queen has to move again, which is a pretty nice position for the bishop, actually. It's very centralized. So very nice position. Queen f5. Now what do you think white played here?
Bishop takes B2.
Bishop take, oh, b7, you mean,
After
right?
B7.
Yeah,
B7.
okay. So what is the threat that black has here in this position?
Queen takes f3.
Right. So the bishop is basically free and pre. So you got to be careful. You know, you got the pin going on. So yeah, you got the bishop out from f3 and still protecting and attacking at the same time. So very nice move. Rook c7. Okay, white to move. What would you play?
Rook f1.
Excellent. Yeah, bring another piece into the attack with tempo, right? Very nice move, right? So look at how coordinated all of his pieces are. It's very beautiful. And the king is, of course, stuck in the center. Very nice. So the queen is being harassed, kicked around all over the place. Queen c2. All right, so bishop retreats back to f3. Queen takes b2. Okay. And now we have queen h7 attacking the rook once again. So now this time he goes rook g6. All right, how would you make progress if you're white here? How would you make progress?
Bishop to E4. No, you can't do that. Never mind.
Bishop e4 here?
Yeah, actually can. But you can do that.
You could do that. You could. Yeah, okay. Not a bad move, I say, you know. Not a bad move. What else? What else do you think?
What
you did
about
here?
bishop to b6, where you try and get the.
No, you lose your bishop here.
Queen takes.
Right.
But perhaps the dark bishop to E5.
E5. Okay. All right. You can do that too.
With the goal of if the rook moves, maybe then get the light squared bishop onto C6.
Yeah. All right, that'd be nice. Yeah, that's true.
if you could.
The bishops are pretty, yeah, they're coordinating pretty well. Very nice. All right, that's a good idea. Oh, sorry. Let me go back. Where do we go? Hold on. So we were queen h7 with g6. Okay, yeah. So here he chose to, even though the rook is activated on this half open file, so he chose to bring it to a better file, rook d1, right? The open
Oh, yeah.
file. And now this king would not dare come on the d file. We have a nasty discovered check here. So so this king is getting really claustrophobic, right? Not comfortable. All right, queen c2. All right, what do you think white played here?
Queen h8 check.
Yeah, queen h8 now beginning to close in on the king. Queen h8 check. Okay, so now let's see. I think in this position is where black resigned. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so black resigned here. Now he's got two options. Well, he can sacrifice rook, but that does nothing. So basically two options, right? King e7, king d7. So what happens in both options? So let's try king e7 first.
Queen to d8.
Queen to d8.
Oh, wait,
Ooh.
no, sorry, not yet. Not until the bishop moves. Bishop check and queen to d8.
Actually, yeah, this is actually the beautiful way to end it. Actually, you stumbled on the right answer. Yeah, so you unintentionally sacrifice your queen, but it's the beautiful ending. So yeah, queen d8 does work. Does everybody see why before I make the moves?
Yeah, because queen takes d8, bishop f6 check, and no matter where you go, rook d8 is checkmate.
Right. This bishop is covering b7. Everything is covered. And yeah, so beautiful. This would be what kind of sacrifice? What kind of queen sacrifice would that be?
The opera mate.
Okay, you could say an opera mate, but it would be like a you can say like a decoy sacrifice, right? Decoying the king onto the D file for exposing for a discovered double check, right? Very powerful type of check, right? Both bishop and rook are immune to capture, and doesn't matter which way he goes. We have, as Samuel said, the opera mate, right? Very beautiful. And then what if he went, let's see. Actually, yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter actually either way. Either way, that ends the game. Yeah, queen d8 or king d7 or king e7. Yeah, they both, it ends the same way. Yeah, good. All right. So that is this game. Cool. All right, so let's do another game. Let's do another game. That was a great one. So another exchange sacrifice game. This is between two grandmasters, Samuel Turseikin and Jonathan Derosu. Okay. All right, so let's see how this went on. So we have e4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, d4, takes, knight f6, knight c3, d6, bishop g5. Okay, bishop, okay, e6, queen d3. All right, a6, castle. Okay, bishop d7, f4. Okay, very nice. So it looks like it's going to be castling opposite sides, right? So he's already starting his pawn storm here, right? So h6, bishop h4, g5. Ooh, interesting move. All right. So what's the point behind g5? Can anybody tell me? So it looks like it drops a pawn, but actually it doesn't. So f takes, and then what does white play? Or black play, sorry.
Does he play knight h7?
Yeah, you could do knight h7, right? The pawn is pinned to the unprotected bishop, right? But he chose something a little bit more active, knight g4, right? So pretty fancy move, definitely. So then he goes knight f3, okay, protecting the bishop, and he played knight gd5, okay, throwing that in first, queen e3, okay, bishop e7, very nice, and intensifying the pressure. So, you know, maintaining the tension on g5, intensifying the pressure, and of course the pawn is still pinned because now we have a double attack on this bishop, right? Very nice. King b1, The king is running away because we have the queen, the king on this very uncomfortable diagonal, right? We have the dark square bishop here. Don't want to be, caught with any tricks like that. So king b1, knight takes, g takes, h takes. Okay, so he gets his pawn back. Bishop g3, knight e5. All right, bishop e2, queen c7, rook d2. Okay, doubling. Castle queen side. All right, so it looked like he was going to castle king side, but after all this stuff, he decided to castle queen side instead. All right, rook hd1. Okay, bishop c6, a3, king b8. Okay, knight a2. All right, maybe rewriting the knight to b4, something like that. All right, rook c8, knight b4, queen a5. All right, white to move. What do you think white played here?
Did he play knight takes c6 check?
Knight takes c6. I think that just helps black like double up his rooks because that's probably what he wants to do anyway, right? Yeah. What else?
Another wild guess, but rook takes d6.
Right. Subject is exchange sacrifice, right? So this pawn, we have double up rooks, and this pawn is on d6, only covered by the bishop. Also, I think what's a justification do you think that white had in mind to do that exchange sacrifice? What do you think?
Well, the bishop and king are on the same diagonal.
Right, bishop and king on the same diagonal, and the knight. And also this bishop is doing an excellent job of holding things together, right? Bishop is protecting g5 and protecting d6, right? So with this bishop out of the picture, this gets weak, the knight gets weak, and the knight becomes pinned. And so, yeah, very nice. This would be a very nice intuitive positional sacrifice. Excellent. Rook takes. Okay, so black decides to get his king off of that diagonal immediately. And then we have bishop f2. Ooh, nice move. Immediate mate threat on a7. Right, excellent. So, okay, what do you think black played here?
Did black play b6?
No, he didn't play b6. Yeah, I mean, I would just give back the pawn, or maybe what would be a strong move here for white? What do you think?
Oh yeah, I see. Would it just be bishop takes h6?
I think so. Yeah, I think that would be a nicer move, right? And then things are just falling apart for white. So yeah, so he played king b8. Now the queen invades, queen a7 check, king c7. Okay. Okay, white to move. What do you think he played here?
Well, now he can play bishop takes a6.
Bishop takes a6. You mean knight takes a6 or rook takes? Which one?
No, I meant the bishop on e2. Takes a6.
Oh, bishop here. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay, bishop takes, king takes. Now what do you do?
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's actually a very beautiful tactic here. See if you guys can find it. That white found in this position. Pretty beautiful.
Bishop g3 maybe. Or
no, bishop
Or
g3, bishop g3, king takes.
okay, yeah, you still lose that rook.
Yeah. There's a nice tactic here. What do you think? And by the way, I think this is like a blitz game. So it's amazing that this GM found this thing in like a blitz game.
I would say Rook takes c6 check.
All right, so Samuel goes for the double exchange sacrifice. Rook takes c6, knight takes,
Knight takes.
now what? Knight
Takes
takes
again.
again, and then maybe king takes. Now what? What would you do?
Oh,
Running out,
it's like-
running out of pieces here.
yeah.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, yeah, it looks like the king escapes. Maybe something like that. Maybe bring the rook up first. All right. So what else?
Hmm.
If you want a hint, I'll give you a hint.
Is it knight takes a6 check?
All right. Why would you do knight takes a6, Samuel?
Well, like it kind of drags out the king to d6.
So first of all, knight takes a6 forces king takes d6, right?
Yeah.
So now,
Oh, that is brilliant. Then the dark bishop to c5 after.
okay. So now, why is that a necessary move? Bishop c5 check, and now that brings the king, forces the king back onto d7. And now what can you do here?
Well, you can go knight b8 check, winning the queen.
Ooh, nice, right? So look at this. Go back here, right? So really, what you have to think about in these kind of positions is, remember, unprotected pieces, right? So that's how the idea of this combination began. This queen on a5 is unprotected, right? So he realized that if he can go knight takes a6, now he's setting up a discovery, and then he's got to force the king back onto a square where the knight can move to discover an attack on the king, and then you win the queen. I thought that's a pretty brilliant little combination there.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice, right? It's not so apparent, like it just looks so complicated over here, but he immediately saw, oh, look at this queen. This queen is unprotected. That's how you have to think, right? You look at the board, and you see unprotected pieces, and that, red flag should go up in your mind saying some combination might appear involving that piece, right? So knight takes, king takes, forcing bishop c5, forcing king d7, knight b8 check, discover an attack, and take the queen. So now he did quite a few sacrifices here, and it ended up basically in equality, right? So you got 2 rooks for the queen, right, versus 2 minor pieces. So pretty nice. And now this king is definitely on the run. All right, so f6, queen d2 check. Okay, king e8. What would you play here?
Oh, what about queen d6?
Yeah, queen d6. Very nice move, right? Queen d6. We're forking the rook, unprotected rook, and mate right here on e7. There's only one way to protect both, which is what?
That's like king f7.
King f7. Got to run. King f7. Queen e7 check. King g6. Take the pawn. Bishop d7. All right. Queen d6. Rook b to d8. All right. Gets his queen out of the way. Okay. Bishop c6 again. Okay. Bishop g8. All right. So he doesn't want to give up this pawn. All right. Rook d1. We have queen e3, dropping the queen back. Rook h to d8. Bishop f2. Okay. Now the rooks are getting pretty strong here. Bishop a4. b3, bishop c6, bishop e1. Okay, rook drops back, h4, knight f7. So yeah, so basically what white has to do here, the king is pretty solid and pretty protected here. What white has to do is kind of destroy this pawn shelter that he has, and the queen will dominate in that open position along with the bishops too. Beautiful coordination. So he's got to open up this position here. So h takes, knight takes. All right. So what would you play here if you were white? How would you continue this attack?
How about f4?
So f4 drops this pawn,
Bishop
Um,
D3. All right, bishop D3, and then
Bishop D3. I mean, you can push here. I mean,
right.
it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting. The position is definitely opened up, so there's a lot of possibilities for both sides.
How about bishop to h4 and from there?
In this position
No,
or before?
yeah,
Oh,
before.
before. Okay, so let's see. Bishop H4.
Mm.
Okay.
Kicking the knight.
Good. All right. All right. It's okay. I think what he did was a little bit more precise. He did bishop C3, which is a nice move. He's still
Okay.
controlling the D2 square and putting his bishop on a nice active diagonal. Right. So very nice move, I think. Knight E6, King B2. I mean, here I think maybe F4 would have been good, right? So now he can push the pawn up, maybe threaten a fork up here. Now the queen is threatened also to come over here and activate itself as well. So yeah. All right. So King B2, Knight D4. All right. So he removed this knight immediately. Bishop takes, bishop D3, King G7. All right, Queen F4. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you could push this pawn, but that might weaken this. Although you can't really, black can't really attack it again with Rook E8 because this drops the D4 rook. So yeah. But okay, so he goes Queen F4. I guess white just didn't want to create any additional weaknesses. Queen F4, Rook 4 D6. All right, how do you continue with white? What do you think? Continue the attack.
Do you go E5?
Yeah, E5 looks like a pretty nice move, opening up the bishop, right? And activating the queen as well, and removing the final pawn cover behind the king. His king is feeling pretty naked right now. Queen F7, King F7. Okay, now continue. How do you continue the attack here?
F4?
Let's see, F4. Yes, yeah, you could do F4. I mean, that's
Bishop C4.
yeah, F4 you could do. That's a fine move, I think. You know, push the pawn forward and get the pawn in the attack as well. He chose Bishop C4, immediately attacking the king. And then we have King F8. All right, and now what do you think? Best move here for white. King F8 is a very bad move.
Queen H8 check.
Okay, Queen H8, King E7, then what?
Queen G7.
Queen G7, King E8, then what?
Queen F7 checkmate.
Excellent, very nice. This is a forced checkmate in 3 moves. Very nice. Queen H8. So yeah, beautiful, right? The queen is controlling the dark squares, and the bishop's controlling the light squares. Very nice coordination between the queen and the bishop, right? Queen H8, King E7, Queen G7, and mate, right?
Now, how would that have changed if after C4, black had done Bishop D5?
Let's see. Bishop D5. Yeah, that looks like an interesting move. Let's see here. Yeah, what do you guys think? I'm looking at, queen over here or just queen check here. Because in this kind of position, this king is so exposed that the queen can just really harass this king until black creates a weakness, and yeah, probably it might just be a draw,
Yeah, I was
because
going to say, can't the king just dance around the queen and just basically make a draw because the bishops are stuck?
Yeah, because the bishop is black would love to trade, and then as long as these rooks are doubled like this, they're strong, and maybe white's hope would be maybe to push this pawn mass forward, with the king and try to get another queen that way. So it wouldn't be an easy win. It'd be a difficult win because white would have to avoid all these checks by the rooks, and like this kind of position is very inconvenient to calculate, you know, because the queen provides so many opportunities for different moves, you know, so it doesn't make it easy. All right, so that is yeah, that is that game. Cool. Actually, I got one more game. Let's go over one more game. I see we have about 10 minutes left. Let's do one more game. It's a Bobby Fischer game when he's 14 years old. Let's do this one from 1957. Bobby Fischer versus James Sherwin, New Jersey. Open. All right, let's see here. Bobby Fischer is white. All right, so we got e4, c5, knight f3, e6, d3, knight c6, g3, knight f6, bishop g2. Okay. Yeah, so this would be the this would be like a closed Sicilian, right? Not so common. Much more common is the open Sicilian. Seems a little passive, you know, blocking the bishop and everything. But all right, castle, knight bd2, rook b8, rook e1, d6, c3, b6. Okay, d4, queen c7, e5, knight d5, takes. All right, knight e4, c4. Okay, interesting move. Okay, so he chose to allow his bishop to get traded rather than create maybe a pawn, isolated pawn here and on a7. So knight takes, queen takes, knight g5, knight c to e7, queen c2, so immediate mate threat there. So knight g6, h4, knight f6. All right. What do you think Fischer played here? White to move.
Bishop to f5 or bishop to f4, excuse me.
Bishop to f4.
Actually,
Actually,
can't take it because it's mate.
No, it's not mate. Remember the other knight,
Oh,
f6.
that's that one. I'm sorry.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. So what else?
Yeah.
What
Okay.
else?
Can you go h5?
So you can go h5.
Oh wait, never mind.
Oh, you mean, oh yeah, then I can just take, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else?
Hmm. This is like knight to e4.
Knight e4. Not really that strong. So he kind of opened up the position and he went for a sacrifice. It's not really a sacrifice because he's going to win it back in the next move. So knight takes h7, knight takes, followed by what? Actually, no, he's not going to win it back. Sorry, I'm thinking of the king's going to take. No. All right, so yeah, he does a knight sacrifice here. Okay, cool. So h5. So he wants to completely open up the position now. So yeah, he sacrifices knight and h7, which is kind of an interesting move. You know, not really something what you would expect in that position. So knight h4. Wow. My goodness. Why would he do knight h4?
Why h4 instead of
Yeah, why h4? Yeah, it seems like well actually, yeah. So if this knight moves, let's say he goes to e7, then what's white's best move here?
I'm pretty sure it's just h6.
No, well, white's got a better move than that.
Oh,
Would bishop to e4?
Bishop
but
F.
then the knight just goes back to f6.
Yeah, knight just comes back, right?
No, bishop f4.
Yeah, bishop f4, right? So now this knight is not protecting f4 anymore. Now we got bishop f4 winning the rook.
Ah,
Right? Very nice move. But I don't know why. I don't know why knight h4. Like that's. I'm just curious. Let's see what the computer recommends. I'm just curious in this position. Computer recommends knight h4, but why? Yeah, because it still allows for. Yeah, it still allows for that. All right. Interesting. Okay, so knight h4, bishop f4, bishop queen d8. All right.
Because bishop takes b8, knight takes g2, king takes g2, bishop b7.
B7,
check.
right. Very nice, very nice. So yeah, so all right, good. That's a pretty interesting combination there. Yeah, so he's setting up the discovery with check to pick up the bishop once again. So yeah, so Fischer chooses to take the knight here. So now we're back to equality. All right, so he loses the exchange anyway. But interestingly enough, Fischer doesn't take it. 14-year-old Bobby Fischer, he's like, no, I'm not going to take this rook because my bishop is worth more than this rook, amazingly enough, in this position. So he goes h6. He goes h6, right? Queen takes h4, and he still doesn't take this rook. He leaves his rook alone. H take. Can you imagine you guys are playing an international master, and you have the potential to take a rook, and then you say no. Isn't that funny? So yeah, ace takes g7, king takes g7. All right, what do you think Fischer played here?
Bishop g3.
All right, so bishop g3 is a natural move. It's an okay move. Nothing wrong with it, but he did not play that. What else do you think he played?
Bishop e5.
Bishop e5 check.
No, you can still just push the pawn.
Yeah, maybe just push the pawn. Yeah. What else?
Maybe rook to e4.
Yeah, rook e4. Nice move, right? Setting up a discovery right here. Check, winning the queen. Right, very nice move. So queen h5. He brings the rook back down to e3, f5. Right, all this time, this rook is hanging, and he's saying no, I don't want it. I mean, in this case, in this position, I understand now, because now if the bishop comes on the long diagonal, we have some problems here. So that's kind of understandable now. All right, so now rook h3, queen a8. All right, what would you do? How would you continue this attack?
Bishop
Rook
h.
g3.
Yeah, rook g3 looks fine. Bishop e5 is also pretty good. So he plays bishop e5 check, knight f6. All right, what would you play? White to move here.
Queen d2.
Yes, very good. Queen d2, bringing the queen into the attack as well, threatening the queen to come down here. Very nice move. So queen d2, king f7, queen g5, queen e7. All right, what would you play here?
Bishop takes knight.
Okay, so let's say, so bishop takes, queen takes, now what?
And now rook to h7.
Excellent. Yeah, so now we see that now we're setting up a skewer here with the king and the bishop, with the rook and the bishop. And so not only is would he win the exchange, but he's gonna win a piece, right? So very nice move. So rook h7 check, king e8, queen takes.
Queen.
So here so actually here, Black resigned in a move later. So he didn't take this queen actually, because if he took the queen, that would just be a simple win with an extra bishop, and Fischer wins easily, right? So he didn't do that. So he chose to complicate a little bit and go rook takes h7. Okay, white to move. What do you think he did?
Bishop to c6.
Yeah, bishop c6, very nice move, right? And now the king can go nowhere, right? So we have, after bishop,
Queen takes e6.
yeah, queen takes e6.
Rook e7, I guess.
Let's see. Well, actually, no, rook e7 wouldn't work. Why? Anyone tell me?
Because you would do bishop takes d7.
Bishop
and
takes.
about it.
Right. Bishop takes and king takes, and now How do you save both? What do you think?
Okay.
Let's see how. Actually, this isn't easy. Because I was thinking queen here, right? Then
Yeah.
if rook takes, queen takes, right? But what can black do first?
Rook G8 check.
Right. So you do a little Zwiesenzug, right? Intermediate move to get the rook off of the diagonal with a check, right? And maybe the king comes over this way.
That's okay. If he takes it, then you do queen.
Ah,
B, take
yeah.
the rook.
Excellent. Still doesn't work. Well done. Yeah. Very nice. So the queen dominates here. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. So let's see. What happens if, all right. So what happens if you go here? Is there anything? I mean, it's just a queen versus a rook. I'm just curious. Is there anything stronger? Let's see. What's the strongest moves here? Let's see. Okay. Okay. Well, here I'm sure Fisher would have seen this, right? Made in 25. That's probably why he resigned. He saw the made in 25, right? What do you think? So yeah, very nice game by a 14-year-old Bobby Fischer against an international master. Very nice. All right, so that is the lesson for today on exchange sacrifices. All right, any questions? What do you guys think? Pretty cool. You guys do any exchange sacrifices in your games?
Yeah, I got a couple actually, but I'll send you the links.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah.
I've had a few games where I lost the exchange, but because I had too much compensation, I ended up winning.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah, I mean, yeah, either intentional or unintentional exchange sacrifice.
It still counts.
It still counts, right? Awesome. All right, guys, great seeing you.
Thank you.
Hope you guys
Thank you.
have a wonderful night.
Take care.
Thank
By the way, guys,
Yeah.
I just
All right.
decided to chime in at like the last minute.
Oh.
But
All right.
I'm actually at a conference in Vegas, so Danilo stepped in tonight. So thank you all for listening to Danilo, and thanks Danilo. And
problem.
yeah, just want to say hello and hope everyone's doing well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Conference as well.
Bye.
Take care.
Wow.
Bye-bye.